It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5, shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy B-Gunz on the Green Rush Nation podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He came down here from San Diego, and we want to hear his story. We have Josh from the Farmers Cup. Welcome.
Thanks, B-Gunz. What's going on, my man? Hey, it's an honor and pleasure to be over here in LA with you, man.
Hey,
thanks for the invite, bro.
Of course, anytime. How was the travel out? Not too bad?
Nah, not too bad at all. I hit a little bit of traffic, but you know, under 3 hours anywhere from in LA is good for me. You know,
that's a
fine.
blessing.
At least it wasn't 4 or 5.
Exactly. It could have been easily.
Could have been easy. Yep.
The other day we actually were down there for the Sessions by the Bay grand opening.
That's
on the
right.
way back up, 4 hours. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it happens, man. Yeah, Sessions by the Bay was dope, huh?
Six spot.
Thanks for making it down, supporting, bro.
Of course. We had to. I remember reporting on it because we were doing the news now. We had talked about that a little bit before.
That's right.
And so once we saw the story about a consumption lounge opening in San Diego, we reported on it. And then, boom, they reposted it. And we were like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then it kind of all came together and connected when we did go to the Farmers Cup. Because you guys had the Sessions by the Bay thing there. We were in there. We saw everyone. So, got some content. So it was really, really dope.
Yeah, that's what I love about cannabis, man, and events is it just brings people together, people that you normally wouldn't even meet day to day. But you go to an event or it has to do with cannabis, you can meet some cool people.
Yeah.
I'm glad you met Sessions by the Bay. Shout out to Alex and the whole team over there. They're crushing it.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
The art in there, just the vibes. It was super elegant. Like, if you're a smoker, this is the place you want to be. Like, this is our bar.
Yeah.
You know, we get to go
Straight up.
somewhere to drink now. You know,
there's never been anything like that in San Diego. We're a little bit slower with the regulations down there. So they pulled it off. To headline that is huge business for us here in San Diego. Like it's great. We're stoked about it.
So let's talk about that a little bit. How did you guys link up for the partnership when you did start doing the Farmers Cup?
With Sessions?
Yes.
So I've known Alex for a while. He's one of the founders of Sessions by the Bay.
Okay.
And we found out that one of our associates and good friend, her name is Stephanie. She had a direct connection over there, and she became one of the general managers of the lounge.
Okay.
And then it just kind of worked itself out naturally. I've been telling, we're really big supporters of the community, the industry, the culture. And once I heard that was going on and it was my boy Alex doing that, I just tapped in and I was like, look, like whatever support you need from us within what we can do, we're down. Just make sure to keep us in the loop. And, we heard he was having a grand opening, so we kind of just hit him up and we're like, hey, you got our support for whatever you're doing, but we saw that he was going to open up his lounge in May, and then we're doing our Farmers Cup, our first licensed cannabis event in May as well.
Uh-huh.
And we just saw the synergy and was like, hey, look, let's do something together on this.
Why not?
So yeah, they liked what we had brought to the table, and they ended up being the lounge at our Farmers Cup event.
That was
which
sick.
Was super dope.
It was. I experienced it firsthand, and it really was like an experience. It really was, and everyone who came in there was like, kind of like, I guess a lot of these cannabis events, like I told you before, I'm kind of new to them.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I guess, don't have the best packages when it comes to like buying a VIP.
Yeah.
So a lot of reactions in there like, what? It comes with this? Like, that's sick.
Exactly.
Like, this is really an experience.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's cool to hear that, like, other people enjoying it as well,
Yeah, they put it down for as far as experience wise. They had people bringing you clean bongs and new devices and different flower, different dabs. So yeah, it was a hell of an experience.
They kept coming around like, you want to rip a bong? And I'm like, I never said no before. So
hell yeah.
But it was cool shit.
Yeah.
But we'll get back into that in a minute, because here on the Green Rush Nation podcast, we don't want to just know about your business and your ventures, but we want to know about you personally as well.
Okay.
So tell us just a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And like, what was your first interaction with cannabis? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I'm from San Diego, born and raised in San Diego, all over San Diego. My first interaction with cannabis was probably 15, 16, something like that. Somebody had, they shared a joint with me. I even remember the name of the joint. It was called Big Pink.
Okay.
Damn, I never told this story on air. Yeah, so basically somebody had some weed and we didn't have nothing to roll it up. I didn't know what the hell to do with it. Like, how are we going to smoke this weed? and somebody had some like wrapping paper, the wrapping paper you like wrap presents with,
Yep.
and it was pink. Damn, I can't believe we did, but we rolled that bitch right up in a damn pink rolling whatever, and we smoked it, and damn, our lungs were hurting, but I was high as hell, and we were just giggling and shit. And anyways, that was probably my first interaction with it.
Okay.
But even younger than that, I grew up in Spring Valley area in San Diego, so I had a lot of friends that were already smoking cannabis and stuff. It started off really recreational for me. It was cool, good feeling. All of my friends were doing it, that kind of thing. But as I matured and got a little bit older, I found out that, and doing more research, I found out like cannabis, it's more than that. It's way more than that.
Way more.
And not only all of the other positiveness that cannabis brings, but when I found out the medicinal value of cannabis, honestly, that's what sparked my true passion for it.
For sure.
I know I loved it.
Yeah.
I know I loved to get high and have fun with my friends and just whatever. But as soon as I found out that there was a possibility that cannabis could cure cancer or even help out people with seizures or just all that stuff, it blew my mind, honestly.
Absolutely.
And I started to go down the rabbit hole, YouTube, talking to people, learning more about it. And man, at the same time, unfortunately, one of my family members had cancer.
Jeez.
So it really put it into perspective. They didn't want to use I was super young, so I didn't really understand how to do it.
Yeah.
But upon hearing it, I just did more and more research, and unfortunately, that family member passed away. Rest in peace.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's all good. They're up in heaven,
Absolutely.
waiting for us. But as soon as I found that out, I was like, man, I could have made a difference if I would have known that cannabis had a difference, or even made that person's life a little bit better in the end, or maybe even cured it. I got mad, and I was like, why is this shit illegal? I've been my whole life I almost went to jail for this. I got kicked out of school for it, all this shit. And then I find out all this positiveness about cannabis. And I'm like, man, like the government really has swept this thing under a rug.
Yeah.
And they've fooled millions and millions of fucking people. And it just pissed me off so much. And that really, at the time in California, Prop 215 was a big thing. Prop 215, for those of you who don't know, is it's not recreational, it's a medical cannabis. That's how in 1996 here in California, that's when they started forming collectives so we can legally use cannabis medicinally. That's what the whole aspect about it was started off.
Absolutely.
So, I started meeting people. I started growing. I started meeting other growers. And I started producing our own oils, started a delivery service called the Honey Flower Collective. This is like 2014, 15, maybe 13, something like that.
So you were ahead of the wave, A
little bit, yeah.
Delivery services are still kind of catching on now.
Yeah, definitely. It was at the beginning of it. There was other people doing their thing, before me, but like I had to. There was too many people out there asking, and some of them were asking, where's the good dank at? Where's the good weed? Where I get it? But then I had a lot of people, and in my personal life and friends asking. Once it got out there that cannabis is more than just getting you high, and it could help out some family members, you can do all this and that. I had a lot of people started to rely on us. Yeah. And I never had that happen in my life. I always kept it under the rug that we were growing cannabis. Back, like the trap days.
Of course.
It
didn't want no one knowing.
Yeah. And it was all trap back then. There was no legal means to doing this. So even if it was Prop 215, you still couldn't tell everybody what you're doing. Of course. There might be a little risk to it. But then, it just fueled my passion more when I had people reach out to me like, hey, my uncle has cancer. What's RSO? I heard on the internet, Rick Simpson oil. Yeah. What's that? I heard it could do something. So we started making Rick Simpson oil. We started helping out a lot of people. And that it fueled my passion to go where we are now. And then at the same time, we were getting hit up so much where we couldn't supply to the people that needed it because we were such a small, we're small, super small. Yeah. It became too much. So I was just thinking, how do we do this? How do we expand? How do we help these people out that we don't have the products to help them out? I felt really bad. So at the time, we had a lot of other people starting to grow, starting to do oil, starting to make wax, RSO, different medicines, creams, whatever. So I decided, let's do an event. Yeah. Let's do an event. I remembered I saw a at it was the first LA cannabis farmers market back, I think it was 2013. I saw they got shut down, and it kind of sparked something in my head. I was like, cannabis farmers market? All right, let's start one down here. I looked around, there was nothing in San Diego like that at the time. So I was like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's risk it for the people, because it was just overwhelmingly. It's undeniable. It needed to be done. The people are calling.
Yeah.
They needed relief. They needed to find clean meds at the time. Was really big, because there's a lot of BS out there too. Sure. So yeah, we started off. We did our first event in the back of a little warehouse. We didn't think it was going to be too much, but we had about 15 vendors out there, anywhere from glass blowers to people making medicine or growing or whatever. And we had about 300-400 people come out our first one, which I was not expecting that at all.
First event, that's a good turnout.
Yeah, I wasn't, especially back then, I wasn't expecting that at all. But as soon as we did that, we realized, man, this thing is way bigger than us. This thing needs to grow a lot more. And that kind of set us off on kind of the journey where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, having 400 or 500 people at your first event compared to your event that you just had, that's like huge leap. You know?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So now we can get back into that a little bit. The planning for that, like how long, and how did you find the venue for it and all that stuff, and how
for the event in Vista?
Yeah, for the Farmers Cup.
So it's a long story. It wasn't easy. I'll tell you. Back in 2016, 17, the recreational laws passed. And by then we were doing events for like since 2014. So 5 years, whatever. Yep. We were going strong. And we got a nice little visit from the local San Diego PD. I was at a hotel and was like, hey, I was paying for the deposit. I gave the girl my ID. She walked out of the room, and in walked the DEA agents.
No shit.
Whatever agents, and they basically were like, look, somebody complained. At the time, I want to assume it was like another dispensary or whatever. I don't know who knows who it was, but they were like, hey, if you do this other event, we're gonna come in guns blazing. We're gonna arresting people, and they're like, by the way, what's THCA and who's doing the dabs and all that. This is back when all that just started. Yeah. So they basically were like, look, you do this event, we're coming. We're shutting you down. You got the complaint went too high up. It came straight from whoever the person was in charge at the time, yep. And they weren't having it. So I had a choice. The choice was either shut down or keep on going. And I didn't want to risk me going to jail, and more than me, I didn't want to risk all the people coming, because at that point we had about 900 people coming to our events, like 50 vendors. And, there was no licenses at the time, so it could have went real south really bad.
Cool, for sure.
And San Diego's a little rougher on that back then.
Okay.
So anyways, I decided then I'm going to go ahead and just shut it down. I'm not trying to get rated over this. So shut it down. Then we flipped over to started doing like job fairs and CBD stuff, which was awesome. But then 2016, 17 happened, and the recreational laws passed.
Yep.
And then it created a way for us to do a licensed event. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to go get this damn license. I'm going to start doing these legal events. Well, damn, it was not that easy.
Yep.
I got my license, spent a little bit of money on it, and I started calling every municipality from freaking down by Tijuana all the way up to the Oregon border. I called the city halls, said, hey, I got my state license. I want to do an event. Every single person was like, what are you trying to do? I don't care about your state license. You're crazy. And some people would hang up on me. They thought it was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
So I called probably close to 100 different cities, counties, and every single one of them told me no, except one, and that was in Vista. And this was, like I said, back in 2016, 17, something like that.
Wow.
Vista was like, they were one of the only people that were like, hey, we got something going on. It's not going to happen yet, but why don't you call us back in like 4 years? I'm starting. And that person, his name was Joe Green. Shout out to Joe Green. He was the MC at the event.
Okay,
actually.
yeah.
And he's much more than an MC. He was a city councilman at the time.
Wow.
And he was the first city councilman that embraced cannabis. His last name is Green.
Hey,
what do you know?
What an advocate.
Yeah, it was awesome. So he basically was like, look, call me back, about 4 years or so, and we'll try to get something going. I'm glad you called, because we can plant this seed. And at the time, I was like, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. But I was a little bummed out. I was like, damn, I got this stupid license. I can't even use it.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So,
which is a pretty common thing in the cannabis industry.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Normally you would think you get a license, you could do what the license is
in
for.
any other business, you would have no issue. You know? So that's the downside. But
and to break that down a little bit, the reason why is because the state of California put the local municipalities in charge of what licenses you can use and not use. I'm sure you guys here in LA had the same issues because even though the state allows it, normally if the state allows it, you can do it throughout the state, you would imagine, right? But in California, they decided to put the municipality in charge. For example, San Diego, they just were not having it. They're like, I don't care about your state license. Get out of here. I'm like, I'm from San Diego. Like, are you kidding me? Like, we can't do this in my own hometown. Wow. So it fueled it even more for me to just like find a way. And there wasn't a way until I called Joe Green back 3-4 years later and was like, hey, let's do this. Any movement? And he was like, well, what do you know? We're passing this thing. Why don't you come to the city council and talk about it with us? And we kind of spearheaded that. Joe Green and the council, shout out to them. And we didn't think it was going to go as smooth as it did, but we showed up at the city council. We started voicing our opinions, and the vote came down to it, and it was a unanimous vote. Wow. It was unanimous, 5-0.
That's beautiful.
They all allowed it in their city. And it was, a lot of it was because taxes and stuff like that.
I don't know how they can't see the tax benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to see it.
They couldn't ignore it. They had Measure Z in place already, which one of the first in North County to allow dispensaries. So they've already, at that point, they probably raised several million per year from these dispensaries. And as soon as they find out, because a lot of people they count events out and they don't really look into distros and all this other stuff that they could do. Yeah. But man, there's so much to be had if you just let these kind of operations happen. Yeah. And most people are willing to pay some taxes to do legitimate business, even though it's a pain in the ass. But it is what it is. Yeah. So got with Joe Green. He made it so we could, be an advocate over there in Vista. They passed it 5-0. And from then it was on. As soon as they passed it, I was like, look, how can we hurry up and we just want to get this one off. Like, we've been waiting way too long. Yep. And they gave us a date, and we had to abide by all the regulations, the state regulations and the Vista regulations. Yeah. And the Vista regulations was brand new. This is uncharted territory for them. Of course. For me, I'm just like, okay, let's do this, and this for the event. But for them, it's totally different. They made us do a lot of jump through a lot of hoops, which I don't blame them. We're both learning this thing together. But we searched for a venue. You asked how we find a venue. We searched for a venue throughout everywhere, and we couldn't really find one. There was a bunch of possibilities, and a bunch of people wanted to work with us, but the regulations in Vista Measure Z made it a little bit tougher. So eventually we were like, we took it back to the basics. The reason, what makes this a licensed event? Like what makes this, and what makes a licensed event good is you can publicly announce that you're selling cannabis at a public place. So it's just like any other event that you can advertise you're selling beer or wine or whatever, but we can advertise that publicly without getting shut down or without anything to do with it. And then we can also sell cannabis at the event itself too. Absolutely. So consume and sell at the event. Beautiful. So we're thinking, okay, how can we make the biggest impact here? So we looked, what's the biggest venue in Vista? And it was Bringle Terrence Park, basically a public park. And in the middle of this public park is an amphitheater called the Moonlight Amphitheater. And I knew it was going to be expensive. I was like, man, that place is dope as hell. Yeah. And I know it's going to be way out of our pocketbook. But we found a way to it, and they let it happen. There was one day. Actually, it was booked up the whole year. I called, and they were like, we're booked up for 2 years straight. Wow. And you want to do what here? But I kind of ruffled a little bit of feathers, got with my boy Joe Green, and they were like, look, we have one day. One day the whole year you could do this, and it's coming up. It's coming up quick. Yeah. So it was like our chance. It was like the one chance you get. And if it wasn't then and there, we wouldn't have done it. Yeah. So we were like, let's just move forward. And we put the date on, and we just rigorously, not saying that right, but I was in the trenches the whole time. So it was pretty hectic, but, we made it through.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, and from my perspective, I didn't see any of the hecticness at all. You know, it was like you said, beautiful venue. The vendors were out there. Even though the line was a little long to buy, it was still super organized.
Yeah.
You know, you were
Thanks,
still
man.
able to get over there, purchase your stuff, or even get your sample, whatever they gave you for the $1 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was dope. I thought that was cool to see.
No, I appreciate that. I like hearing that because there was, you know, doing an event like that, there's going to be some issues at first. You know, we had 5 inspections at the same time. I mean, I'm not going to be quiet about that part because I'm kind of proud that we passed all 5 of the inspections. But
Congrats.
we had the DCC out there, the local sheriff, we had the firemen, the whole fire department too. It was like the chief was out there too. We had the local Vista Health Department. We had the local Vista County, and then San Diego County even made a stop through.
Okay.
So it was a little hectic at first. We were a little late opening, but in the end we made it work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they, you know, like I like how you said you didn't see a lot of that stuff, and I'm glad. But there was some people that were kind of pissed off about that part.
You can't please everyone.
Yeah, and
know?
we really try. I take this stuff to heart. It's personal for me, which I shouldn't. It's kind of a flaw, but like I want to try to make sure people are happy when they come to my event. And we try to make it right as much as possible. So if you're listening to this event and, you know, some ain't right about our last event, hey, hit us up. You know, we'll give you some free tickets to our next event or whatnot.
That's a beautiful thing.
But yeah, we take charge and take responsibility. But yeah, it was a great event. We hope that many more events happen in San Diego now.
I think it will. I think you guys laid a great foundation for what could be, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's great. And it was peaceful, you know, not one problem the whole day. So I think that was great.
Yes, there was 0 fights.
Yeah.
0 problems. There was probably 1 person in an ambulance. And for an event that big, you know, I don't think it was anything too hectic. I think the person just didn't drink some water or something like that.
Dehydration.
Maybe, which is a real thing.
Happens.
It happens.
Happens at concerts too, so you can't even bite yourself in the ass for that, you know?
And then if you look at those compared to like a alcohol, if we allowed alcohol, oh my
kidding
gosh.
me?
Yeah, it's just like a night and day difference.
For
and we
sure.
did hear at the end, like, the sheriff, their comment was, I would rather work this event 10 times than one alcohol event.
1,000,000%.
You know, so they probably had a pretty easy day.
Oh, I'm sure.
But shout out to them. Cool. You know, they you could tell they're a little uncomfortable just because they're used to the opposite of you know, seeing people blaze up and, you know,
I'm not gonna lie,
sell and all
seeing
that.
So for me at first was a little weird. I'm like,
it is.
That's interesting. They're not gonna fuck with us. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they explained to us, you know, we had to have meetings with them a lot, and they basically at the end it was like they're there to protect us.
Absolutely.
You know, if anything
goes
crazy
on,
were to happen.
yeah.
So, I mean, we don't want our security doing anything too crazy, but and nothing popped off.
And shout out to the community for that, because I don't think you know, we have an understanding. We want to be peaceful. We're out here to have a good time. You know.
Yeah,
So.
It's positive, man. We're just trying to, you know, spread positive vibes throughout our community and our culture, and we really need it at a time when this world is crazy as hell. Like, one thing we can look forward to is the positivity that cannabis brings.
That's for damn sure.
You know, so yeah, it's a people thing, man, and we're very, very thankful to be in the culture, be in this community, and even in the industry too.
Absolutely.
So.
What a great place to be, honestly.
Yeah.
And now when it comes to booking some of the talent, shout out to DJ Gummy. That's our DJ over here. I know he killed it for you guys.
He killed it. Shout out to DJ Gummy, man. He is awesome. His DJ sets are wicked. Look him up, DJ Gummy. Yeah, he was there for 10 hours straight, just mixing it, killing it. You know, he had good synergy with all the hip hop artists there.
Yep.
He's an old school hip hop head too, so it was good to see him in his mix, man. We put him right there in the center stage the whole time. 30-foot LED screen.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was cool to see. It was cool to see.
Yeah.
Now how did it go, like, booking some of the talent? Did you have to, like, how was there challenges when it came to that?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, it was from what we wanted in the beginning was totally different from in the end.
Of course.
And, even though it did work out, but you know, it's just booking. You're trying to book people who are super famous, you know, and I'll just admit half of them we didn't have the damn budget for, but we tried.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely tried. We're like, hey, Snoop, what's up? Like,
yeah, of course.
You know, I didn't talk to Snoop myself, but you know, but you know, some of these figures are pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
But it ended up working in the end. We had doing our events down there. We want to tap into the locals too. We don't just want to have people from outside, which I don't mind that either, but we're a local focused group. So if we're whatever city or community we're in, we want to make sure that we're reciprocating that, because it's all about, if you're in somewhere in a local city, like, let's see what talent you guys got and bring them out.
Absolutely.
We're in your town. We want to show love. So we had out probably half of the artists we have were local.
I love that.
Yeah, Leia Love, she's from Oceanside. RM the Poet, he's from Vista.
Okay.
Then we had Dante come out, Grandma's boy himself. He's from LA, but he did a performance, which is pretty cool. And then we had Burner headlining. So Burner definitely,
it was a beautiful show. Yeah, I think
make it a
people
little
enjoyed
smoky.
that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
How was it meeting Burner? Was he a cool guy?
Oh yeah, cool guy.
Easy to work with?
Easy to work with. Yeah, I mean, we definitely shout out to my brother Josh. Yeah, he has the same name as me. But he runs culture in New York, actually, and that's the Cookies in Manhattan.
Beautiful.
And he had a connection, and he made that process a lot easier. Shout out to Noah and the Cookies team for making that pretty easy. Yeah, he was pretty easy to deal with, man.
Good.
You give him the good smoke, make sure he has his healthy choices to eat. Even his security was cool.
Good.
Solid dude.
Yeah. But
cool as hell.
Yep.
Cool as hell.
I mean, and as far as the cannabis event goes, you guys got a perfect person, because, I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people are there for, what I realize at these cannabis events is if it's just a performer, a lot of the times, like, no offense to them, but the people aren't really into it because they're not there for the performance. They're there for the weed, they're there for the vibes,
right.
And that person happens to be on stage,
You're right.
But if it's a weed guy and they're fucking with the weed, they're going to go down and be like, yo, that's our guy right there,
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because I noticed the same thing.
Yep.
It is a struggle sometimes to get the crowd, because the crowd is so doing other things. They want to go to each booth. They want to.
There's a lot going on at these events.
A lot going on, and a lot of times, that entertainment gets a little looked over.
Yeah,
which sucks sometimes, because I want there to be packed crowds for every artist, no matter how small or how big.
Yep.
But yeah, man, that's the thing. That's the thing at cannabis events.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, this was super successful. Congrats to you and the whole team and everyone who made it come together out there. I know we talked a little bit before this, and you said you do have some events coming up. So do you want to just shine a light on some of the ones you do have coming?
Yeah, definitely, man. Thanks for bringing that up. So we just launched our 710 event. So we usually do about 4 events, or I would say competitions per year, because the Farmers Cup is founding as a competition, and the in-person events is the award ceremonies. It's kind of like a part 1 and part 2 of the same event.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks, man. And we usually do it around like cannabis focused holidays, so 420, 710, Harvest, and we used to do a Valentine's one, but we skipped 420 just because the last event was just overwhelming, so we had to skip 420. Unfortunately, sorry y'all. I know everybody was hitting us like, hey, what are you guys doing for 420? We had to skip it, but we just launched 710, so it's a concentrate focused competition.
Okay.
Farmers Cup presents, and basically it's going to be the same thing. We've done this about 5-6 years in a row now. Beautiful. And so it is a concentrate focused event. But we decided this time we're going to open it up to edibles, and we're going to open it up to flower as well.
Okay.
So it's a full-on competition. The competition pretty much is, think of it as 2 different things. The competition is licensed. So if you have a licensed brand out there, you want to enter the competition, you can enter the competition. And we do a home grow focused one. We never want to forget where we came from.
Of course.
And my attorney, she did not like that at first. She's like, what are you doing? Yeah. Hey, the home, we know it's not all home grow. Come on. But, it's something to where before all the licenses were, everybody was a home grower. Everybody was doing their thing.
Of course.
Even some of the biggest names right now, they started in a closet. And we never want to forget that, because, cannabis is very versatile. It's not just one damn thing.
Yeah.
And that gets caught up in the laws and the regulations sometimes. A lot of people see if you're a home grower, you're a trapper. Hey, some of that times maybe that's true. But not all the time. There's people that want to grow just for their home use, or people that really grow amazing freaking strains, but they're too afraid to kind of get out there just because they're scared or whatever. But we want to always respect the home growers and the personal use guys. So we do have that separate competition for that. So if you're a home grower out there, if you can get your tree or your hash or your rosin to San Diego to drop it off, you can enter that. You got to be above 21, and that's about it. We offer free testing. Shout out to Infinite Cals, our testing lab.
Sick.
So you can get your stuff tested. And the past few years, I really enjoy seeing the diversity of the kind of home growers coming out, because we're getting people who is like their first time grower, or all the way up to like a seasoned dude that's like 80 years old, and he's like, hey, I want to enter my stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just it's amazing. I love the culture so much, and the more we do these events, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, it's a deep ass culture, man.
And the crazy thing about opening it up to like people like that is you're going to find the people that are really the most passionate about this shit. So if they're really good at it, the competition is going to be good. You know?
100%, man. 100%. And even the license side too, like some of these licensed brands put out some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of stuff. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I know you mentioned that you guys do a little bit of cultivation as well. You want to speak about that a little bit?
Yeah. So me personally, I've been growing for a long time, long time, 20 years plus. You know, but it's something we, you know, going from just like a home grower or doing a back in Prop 215 days is a totally different than now.
Yeah.
If you need to trying to get a license, it's almost unobtainable if you don't got a homie with a couple $1 million laying around.
Absolutely.
Which most of us don't. So I kind of wrote that part off when recreational laws, Prop 64 passed, just because we didn't have the finances to be quite, I'll be honest, just too much. So I never really thought that we could do that. But one day, and don't get me wrong, I've been growing the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's always been very close, near to my heart. Growing, it's literally like how the culture gets there is growing dank strains, connecting with stuff. And I got a phone call one day, honestly. I got a phone call all day. People know that I grow or whatever. I got a phone call one day, and they're like, hey, I'm sitting down with some people right now. They got a spot. They don't know how to grow, and they need somebody to kind of, introduce. So I was like, give me a couple days. So I called the grow team. I was like, hey, I think I found an opportunity. And by then I had so many other meetings like that. I was like, it's probably ain't going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
But this one chance it did go somewhere. And they wanted to hear what we had to say. And we showed them some of the dank that was coming out of our spots. And they're like, look, like, let's make something happen.
Yeah.
And, a little bit of rough at first, but we found the way, and we didn't stop. And it's been about 3 years now. We were just recently released our Farmer's Cup. It's probably been like about a year and a half that we have our Farmer's Cup brand.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man. We decided to put the Farmer's Cup brand on it because that's what people know.
Absolutely.
It was either that or start a brand new brand. And it was just, let's go with what people know already.
Absolutely.
So we slapped the name on and do our cultivation. So we are part owners of the cultivation as well.
Beautiful.
And the full brand for the event. So yeah, this is one of our things. We do a 10 grammer. There's a 28 grammer right there, and we got 4 gram jars. We don't do the 3.5. We all need a little bit of extra smoke. So,
Absolutely.
So we do the 4 gram jars.
I love it.
Yeah, man. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart that you did that because, like I said, even when I was down there at the sessions by the bay, I saw your brand there, so it is very familiar. You know?
That's what we were getting at. Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, brand recognition's a big thing, and we don't got a lot of funds to dump into that stuff. The normal routes of advertising. You got to kind of be crafty.
Yeah.
Think of like what's already working, and if you find something that's working, shout out to all entrepreneurs out there. Take note. If you find something that's working, go full for that, and it'll turn into something.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And with this stuff, I'm having a brain fart real quick. But
no worries, man.
When it comes to the cultivation and even the events, like what is like your favorite part about it? Is there anything that like maybe challenges you when you like it, or is it just that you just enjoy doing it?
For the events, it's just bringing people together, man. I love looking around my events and seeing all the smiling faces. Like I said earlier, like this world is full of problems, man. It's tough. It's tough just go around everyday life, and it's tougher for some people more than others. But you go to a cannabis event and you just see all the positivity that comes out of it. the most hardcore people you know. They're out there smiling, sharing joints with people they probably would never even, deal with. So I love the positivity aspect. The culture is very, very important to me. For our events, that's probably the number one thing is bringing people together.
That's dope.
Positiveness. For cultivation, kind of the same thing, but, just to people when they pop that bag open and it's like, they smoke it and it's something that they like. We couldn't say too much back in the day because of that, but now it's like, that's us. Like, that's kind of like our baby right there.
Be proud of it.
Be proud of it. Yeah. And shout out to my partners, man. Ray, Sean, the whole grow team out there. We're out in Calexico.
Okay.
It's about an hour and a half away from San Diego, really close to the border of Cali. And they're just all crushing it, man. We do a lot of pheno hunts. We don't run too many candy strains, just because we love candy too. Don't get me wrong,
of course.
But we try to kind of think outside the box.
Yeah.
We love gas, so our main staple is Donnie Burger.
Okay.
We found a cut of Donnie Burger that just blew everything out.
Beautiful.
Checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of other strains in the mix too, doing some other things. So
I actually did get to try some of that Donnie Burger, the wax.
Oh yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, that was. I think they freshly pressed it there or something like that.
Good shit. It was good shit.
Hell yeah, man.
So now people getting into this nowadays, whether it be cultivation or the event side of things, is there any advice you would have?
Yeah, just stick to it, man. Do your homework. If you're trying to get into like a license thing, make sure it's going to work for you. And what I mean by that is do your research. Like, I know it's sounds unobtainable for a lot of people, but get an attorney. Make sure whatever you plan on doing, I would say start with that. Obviously, start with like a business plan. And if you have somebody that can work those professional sides for you and help you out, like that's going to be a good game changer, because in the cannabis space, a lot of people want to do everything. We're men of many hats, or
Yes.
women with many hats, and we're just used to it because back in the day, it's like there was nobody you can just call and be like, hey, can you install my thing in my grow? You gotta be the AC guy. You gotta be the everything.
Yeah.
And I would say just try to hit up people and focus that business into a real business.
Absolutely. So build your team.
Build your team. The team, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
You can get somewhere alone, but to get somewhere where you want to go, you got to make sure you have a team. Work with people that are solid. And every deal ain't a good deal. Don't say yes to that first deal unless it's like undeniable, but most of the time it ain't.
Yeah.
What all glitters ain't always gold.
It's true.
So don't say yes to that first deal. Make sure you're doing your research. And if you don't have passion for this industry, you might not make it, because if you look at the ROIs right now, especially right now in the industry, we're kind of rock bottom with.
Well, let's
a lot of
be dead
stuff,
clear.
man.
If you're not passionate about this, you will not.
Yeah, straight up.
You're not going to care.
Passion. Yeah. You have to have passion, and there is a lot of guys in the industry that don't have passion for it, and you can kind of see that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, passion is a lot. So if this is what you like to do and this is your passion for it, don't be afraid to put in that hard work either, because you're not going to get nowhere if you don't put in that work.
That's for damn sure. Nothing comes easy and nothing is given to you. So go out and do it, because ain't nobody going to come and do it for you.
Yep, straight up.
Yep.
Straight up.
So now where do you see the events 5-10 years from now?
Wow, that's a good question. I hope that there's a lot more events. I see in 5 to 10 years probably main big events like Coachella, Bayfest in San Diego. I see there being a weed bar, a garden, not just a beer garden.
Yeah,
I see that's going to eventually be that.
We're heading more and more in that direction every time.
Exactly.
Stizzy's out there sponsoring all these huge concerts and shit. So we're heading in that direction for sure.
100%. Yeah, and it's going to go full force, I feel, pretty soon.
Definitely.
And I hope there's just many more. I hope that the industry and the culture kind of like combines a little bit more, because to run a business and to involve the culture, it seems really difficult for some people that kind of looking from the outside in.
I think that's the biggest issue, and maybe it's only because of legality right now. But once legality is not an issue, I think the acceptance is high.
I agree.
I think the social acceptance is very high.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it's gonna just spread too. Like we're talking to some of our buddies down by the border in Otay Mesa, and they're talking about how the culture in even Tijuana in Mexico is it's just like over here.
Yeah,
they want the good weed. They want more events. They want more of the stuff. So like it's just gonna keep on spreading, man. I think in the next 5-10 years is gonna be pretty exciting
for sure.
I mean, I do foresee probably some federal legalization, which I don't know how that's going to look, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I hope it's going to look good.
Straight up.
But I do see probably more taxes and stuff like that. But it will open it up to, people getting more serious. And
exactly.
Investors are going to open it up. Being on the public market,
it won't be such a risk anymore.
It won't be such a risk. And, it might flesh itself out a little bit. But, yeah. I'm hoping for the best, man.
Same here. I mean, even like seeing the shit going on in Thailand now too, though. I think that just people seeing like now we're not even talking about in the States. Now we're talking about where you could bring markets elsewhere, and like that's huge.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, and if America doesn't get on the damn ball and let this international,
we have to lead.
We have to.
We have to. Or this is all we got.
We have to.
We got the weed.
Yeah, and right now in the international aspect, we're not. Like I think. Canada, Peru, Thailand. I think they can do international shipments back and forth. Yeah, let's get on it, America. Yes. We got to figure some stuff out like that. So
hey, just to mention, I mean, I'm just mentioning this because it's some shit that I've been seeing that's been blowing my mind. But a bunch of these big brands are straight up just selling online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I've been seeing it more and more recently. I'm like, is this legal? And then you look and it says hemp, and I'm like, that's what I bought in the store, and it had no hemp on it. I'm like,
I mean, I ain't gonna say no names or whatever.
Of course,
there is a way to that. It has to do with the farm bill, I won't speak too much about it. But there is a way to it. It is crazy,
but it made sense because I'm like, how are all these brands doing so much? And it's like, if they're doing that, then that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're super successful doing it. I mean, I'm talking like. They're making more than we're making, in our industry with the licenses.
Well, if you can ship to the door anywhere, then you fucking better be making more.
Yeah, man, it's wild, man.
It is wild.
Yeah.
You want to shout out your sponsors real quick? I know you had a couple.
I brought some stuff for you. So there is some pink wipes for you. Basically, it's some alcohol wipes made for the cannabis industry. So we all don't want to catch with the next. Disinfect your bong or whatever before you pass it over. Shout out to OCB. Their premium rolling papers. Shout out to Kevin and the whole team. They sponsored our last event.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I will say you guys put me onto those papers. I got a pack in my bag right now from your event. And I've been loving them. I'm going to buy them next time.
Yeah, they're super high quality. A little bit of a smaller company than most of them, but they're up and coming. They've been around for a long time, actually. And
OCBs are super old. I used to smoke them all the time. Then I became a raw guy for a little bit. But once I smoked this, you can really taste the weed.
Yeah.
Like, really taste it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these are cool. I like them.
Yeah, they got a bunch of different ones. They got hemp. They got bamboo. They got a bunch of ones.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, and then shout out to Grove Bags. If you notice these bags, these are all Grove Bags. Grove Bag with Terplock technology. Shout out to Lance. Shout out to Jack, the whole team. They just did a first Smoke of the Day episode.
Beautiful.
Maybe they can be on here next or whatever.
Absolutely.
These bags are just amazing. They hold the terps. They naturally cure.
Okay.
This is what we use in our retail and for our competition as well.
Beautiful.
So shout out to them. Shout out to Athena, one of our other big sponsors, and shout out to all the competitors and just everybody that came to our event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really was a great event. It's cool to see the community get together like that. And is there any last things you want to just get off your chest, let the world know?
Yeah, subscribe to this podcast right here, because if it wasn't for people like B-Gunz and his crew right here, getting this stuff out, talking to people, connecting the dots, tap in with you guys, tap in with us too. Make sure to hit us up if you want to be a part of our event, farmerscupofficial.com. We're open to it. You can DM me. You can hit me up.
Perfect. Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, social media, Farmers Cup Official with 2 L's at the end. We're shadow banned all to hell.
We know too well.
Yeah, man. But we got a website, farmerscupofficial.com. You can always email us as well. That's about it, man.
Beautiful.
We appreciate you guys, though, man.
We appreciate you guys doing great things for the community. We hope to see many, many more events. I think that you guys really did a solid foundation with the first licensed events down in San Diego County. So congrats to that. You guys are doing great things.
Hey, thanks,
Keep
man.
doing great shit, and I can't wait to see you guys do in the future.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, man. And I did have one last thing to say.
Go ahead.
I want to invite you. I want you to be one of our VIP judges for our 710 event.
I would be honored.
Yeah? Okay.
I'd be honored. Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's fucking
get
do it,
that,
man. Sounds good to me.
We got you. I'll get you the information. So you heard it here first. B-Gunz is going to be one of our VIP judges.
Yes, sir.
Let's get
you
it.
heard it here.
Cool.
Well, that's it for today. We appreciate you coming out. Well, shit. We'll see you guys next time out on the Green Rush Nation podcast. But tell your mother, your brother, your sister, your dad, cousins, tell everybody. Like, share, subscribe, comment, turn those notifications on. We appreciate everyone. The followers, subscribers have been going up every single week. So thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on a 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave.